Hey guys, this is Kirob speaking, and today we continue our work on the Diablo 2 Countess run simulator. After struggling a little bit with the algorithm in last episode, and I dropped in the future Rob there to explain it, and that was probably the right choice. So I didn't have to adjust much, because everything was basically correct apart from me having a roll of an item and a rune before we actually got to the supposed main drop of the Countess. And taking these out, the only thing that remains is 5 item drops. We have 5 picks, pick 1 to 5, and we roll 2 chances and have the various chances dropped in here for the treasure classes and stuff. And whenever we find a rune or an item, we up the items dropped variable and check if it is 6, if it has reached 6 once we get into the specific Countess drop. That is a Countess rune drop, which is down here. Okay, that means I do not need this one anymore, because it is impossible with 5 picks to get 6 items. Even better, even better. So what I'm going to do now is just check through that I have it correct for all 3 difficulties, and that is all. This is the whole the whole algorithm for it. Apart from, of course, yeah, they're the other scripts, of course, which are here. I didn't have to change those at all. They are working fine and look great. All right. So let me just quickly run through and check them, and then we are off to the races. Okay, yeah, this is all looking great. It should be correct for all difficulties now. We do have the different drop chances in here, 6 out of 42. Oh, you probably want to see that it actually works, which I understand, of course. So where do I have that? All rune stats. So here, I did run I did make a 10,000, is it 10,000? No, 100,000 Countess run simulation. That takes around, let me just show you how quick that is. It won't be quite as quick once we have all the UI implemented, but it will be close to. So this is our program. If I hit spacebar, it simulates, and 100,000 runs is, let me do 1. You should see it pop up down here. So 1, 2, 3. And there we go. Okay, that was 100,000 Countess runs with accurate drop chances. Oh, we got 2 Ohm runes and 2 Vex runes. 6 ghoul. Oh, pretty cool. No low rune though. That is unfortunate. Anyway, distribution is great. And we do get this distribution is what I was looking at primarily to see if things are right. And I did make up a little check here. This is 100,000 runs, the data from them, and the chances to get a rune drop, 0 drop, 1 drop, 2 drop, those chances are listed here, the simulated ones. And these are the cumulative chances from 900 Countess runs split up in 3 times 300 runs, 300 per difficulty. And as you can see, those chances align pretty well. Of course, there are a few low numbers in here, like the 4 drops. So there's a massive error bar. And you can see that we are really close to what I saw in my Countess runs I did in Diablo 2. So yes, this is actually the correct algorithm to use. And that is now we are safe and can continue implementing UI and stuff, now that we know that the actual runs are perfectly nailed down. What I'd like to attack next is to get this down here section implemented, because that will allow us to at least implement the number of runs command already tied to the simulate button down here, and give these buttons some meaning. That would be my first goal for today. And then I think we get started on implementing the actual rune columns with all the data in them. And then maybe we're even so fast to be able to implement some buttons over here. Let's see how it goes. Okay, I have hooked up these buttons now. They actually do stuff, select difficulty and so on. So we should be able to do a normal run. Oh, this one doesn't quite work yet. I haven't hooked up that one yet, the simulate button. But this should now have simulated normal difficulty. Let's see, yes! Yes! Oh, we only found... oh, wow. It very much looks like just pure chances. Yes, 46,300 tile runes. That's enough to make a few stealth armors. Yeah, normal mode is definitely working. Now I've implemented the font into the game as well, so I can just draw it wherever I want to. And that one will go down here somewhere. I need to replace the simulate button. I just made the first small button a plus button by simply copying the big button parent and changing only the sound around and saving it as small button parent. And then I cloned a normal button and assigned a plus to it, and then parented that to the small button parent. And that should mean that all my small buttons now have the small button sound. But otherwise the same functionality, which is exactly what we need, I believe. And we're compiling, trying to... Oh, there they are! When I'm just multiple clicking it. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it that way. That isn't too bad. Okay, so plus and minus button does work from a UI standpoint. It doesn't work because it's not hooked up to anything. But I'm going to make this the run count button and then actually put a number in between there so that we can increase it. The number of runs button is somewhat tricky because you don't want to increase the number of runs by 1 if you're going from 300 to 400. So what I'm doing here is to have a big vector which has, oh well, one array that has 26 or 27 different steps, starting at 1, finishing at 100,000. And those can be cycled through by the click of the button then. Not yet, that I have to implement now. Wait, it's working first try, no error. Look at that. And now, let's see if this button actually deactivates when I get to 1. No! Fuck, but I cannot press it anymore. Alright. Mini bug. Alright, that's a fair bit of logic for some simple buttons like these. So, what are we doing here? We check if the minus or the plus button is clicked. Then we set the clicked flag to false once again, so that you can instantly click it again. Then we check if the button is actually activated or not. If it is activated, that means it has a legal number in it, which can be reduced. So that, because I'm doing some additional logic there, so I lower the number of runs index by 1. Then I save the number of runs via the array I have for the data into the number of runs setting, which is used for the simulation itself. Then I check if the new number of runs index equals 0 after that action, and if it equals 0, then I'm going to deactivate the minus button and set its image to deactivated. If that minus resulted in the index being 25. That means we were at 26 before, and that means the plus button needs to be reactivated because it was locked before. So the same thing happens for the plus button, but in the other way around, basically. So it checks if that has relieved the minus button, and the minus button can be activated again if the new index is 1. And if we've run into 26 as our new index, then the plus button needs to be deactivated. And this should show you, if you're not a programmer, never have done such a thing, like this is just a plus and minus button, people. And like all that shit just for a plus and minus button so that it behaves itself. That is a lot of code for just a tiny itsy bitsy item on there. So yeah, what you usually use in programs and stuff, and I too, and it just works and everything is taken for granted, that is sometimes a lot of effort behind there. So let's see if it actually works or crashes. Oh, beautiful. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. First try, no bugs. Oh, well, no, don't say that, Kirop. Don't say that. Oh, yes, yes. Can't click it anymore. And now, whoop, all the numbers. And yes, it's deactivated. Perfect. All right, well, that was successful. I'm happy. I'm about to try something else that could be pretty fun, and that is I'm starting to make some rune objects, and I'm creating a tooltip for them straight away. I've never done that before, but it should be reasonably easy. So I'm creating a hover variable and just set that variable to true whenever I enter, and of course I need to set it to false once we leave. So there, I'm going to add that very soon. And if hover is true, then we draw the text at this object's X and Y position, but X at plus 28, because this corner, this upper corner, is where the X is measured and the Y is measured. So what I want to do is get to this position, plus 28, and there start to display the text for this. And probably should set its size before then, and the proper color. But I can't open InDesign while this program is running, while GameMaker Studio is running. It horribly crashes. So unfortunately I can't check what color we used. I will have to take a few notes and then just implement all that kind of stuff. Also the positions for various buttons and so on, I just slap them on the screen, as you've seen, and later on I can easily position them once I have those notes. But yeah, that will be fun to try out. But first, some more important things. I need to make something that generates a big column of them with equal spacing and about-ish in the right position. Okay, I think that could work. So we are creating our first column like this. We have a looper variable that goes from 1 to 11. We step through that and we create a rune object at a location that is 320 pixels in X and 200 plus 30 times the looper variable. And it creates a rune object there. Which we can address by the actual rune index, and at that point the rune with the rune index gets its name from our data manager and the rune name database or array with the looper variable once again. I think that could work. Let's try it out. Well, that was a decisive no. Let me debug a few things. Also, I just see that I have not implemented that they actually change their image. So that also needs to happen. Well, that is unfortunate. This just doesn't seem to work with arrays like this. I know I have made this before, but that is over a year ago. I can't remember what the trick was. It has probably something to do with that arrays are pointers and not actual objects like this. So, this would be just so nice. This would be too nice. Okay, let me restructure it and make it ugly and functional. Okay, I am perplexed. Entirely perplexed. Look at this. So we did use these already, right? So this is an array, but supposedly this isn't an array. Is not an array. Why? It is complaining about something here, and that is, I've commented this out, and this doesn't work. I mean, Rune name in object data manager, object data manager, dot Rune name, that is a variable in Rune name, and that variable is an array. So if we go in here, Rune name, index, and then it's a string for each data field. Why the fuck doesn't that work? Probably being stupid here, but I mean, that seems so weird. It's like trying to index a variable which is not an array. This is a fucking array. It has 33 fields, no, 34 even. Yeah, it doesn't like it. Okay, I have no clue what's going on, why this is working but the other thing isn't. Okay, take a look. So I'm clearly able to draw the Rune name on here. And what am I doing? Just in the GUI event, I'm addressing, but from the data manager itself, which holds this reference, I'm referencing the array that holds the name. It is a fucking array program. Why can't I use it in here when addressing it via the data manager object? Okay. Now I'm fucking perplexed once again. I can access it from there as an array. Fuck, close it. Yeah. This is now in UI Manager. And I'm just addressing it the same way as I did in the create event. Maybe the create event doesn't have everything created yet? Does it have to do it in a certain order or something? I have no clue why that isn't working. It would have been so nice. Okay, after all that fighting with arrays, I think this is how it's supposed to work. Yeah, this will be easy enough to make. It's not as pretty, but I don't care about pretty if that saves me like hours and hours of research into how to actually make that work dynamically. Yeah, fair enough. I need to also fix the tooltip. Yes, I know, but considering this is the very first implementation, the mechanics are there, so that's cool. Also, I think I need a little bit more distance between them. And here we go. Yes, all the runes. All the runes. And with even spacing, they even look better. Yeah, now this is pretty good. Now I just would have to place them there. Right. Well, that title text is not center aligned, unfortunately. And these runes need to go a little further down. But other than that, it's looking pretty solid. I really don't like the color for this. I think I need to change it to either like this red. Yeah, I'm not happy with this color. It bites the rest. Ah, that isn't too bad. That isn't too bad, apart from the text appearing next to the wrong rune. This is actually pretty good. We got the orange in here now. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. This is working nicely. I'm loving it. It's just the L rune, like the very short names, they are a little too far away from the rune. But it's still very readable and natural. It reacts nicely too. This is like professional tooltip level. Almost. Not really. Ah, fuck. So the only problem, look at that. The only problem was that we were not able to get into the other objects array. This is actually working. Okay, that, considering that I've not done all the work yet, that was another good thing I tried that. Once again, okay, let me do this fancy for loop again. Yes, it works. Oh, and fatal error. Yes, I expected that actually, because I have not redone the tooltip. Abort. So now the question is, will this work? Variable name data manager dot rune name rune number, because the rune number is set on creation of this rune, and it won't be 0 at that point. And that is after everything has been created, so there should be an array at that time that everyone can access. At least I hope so. Let's see if that works. Please, 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 please. And yes, it works! Awesome. It is slightly more compact than all of this crap, which I now can delete. Very nice. That should give me a very quick run at the other runes too. Let me just throw them in there. And that is why I wanted to do it in the fancy way. That was really quick now. Whee! All the runes are here. Zod. Yes. Nothing is placed, obviously, but yeah, I don't need to tell you that. And I think this is a really good time to wrap up. It's also getting late. 22:30 already. This fucking array thing has taken a while. Yeah, I always get hung up on these things. Probably the same for you, I guess, if you're a programmer. It's like, oh, this is supposed to work. So what did we accomplish today? Well, not quite as much as I hoped for, but I mean, tooltip's working, the runes are implemented, and some fancy button mechanics are implemented, which actually work as intended. Yes. And text. Yeah, okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. We shall continue next time. So I hope you enjoyed, and see you guys next time.